What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Excuse me. Excuse me. Now, before we get started with today's video, the road to 200 subs has now come to a close, and we are now 204 subs away from hitting 500 subs. And if you guys are new to the channel, and I know that a lot of you guys are, because practically 100% of you guys are watching the content, but you guys are not even subscribed. So if you guys are watching the content, you like the content, and you want more of the content, but you guys have not subscribed as of yet, then make sure you guys do indeed subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button on this video, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below. Excuse me. Excuse me, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which is basically today's video. But the question of the day is this: who was better at making WWE and making entrance themes for WWE? Johnston, CFOs, or Def Rebel? Let me know down in the comments below. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about for today's video. Is the biggest dispute ever devised in WWE's history, especially for among us as the fans. Who was always better, Johnston, CFOs, or Def Rebel? Here's the thing, right? You look at Jim Johnston, right? The idea of having entrance themes didn't really come about all that much until I want to say somewhere in the early to mid 80s, where you had where guys like Hulk Hogan, guys like Roddy Piper, guys like the Hart Foundation, guys like Macho Man Randy Savage, and who else can I think of? Who else can I think of? Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. You know those were the first guys that had their own entrance theme. Like when you think of Hogan's theme, Real American. It was actually produced by not just by Jim Johnston, but it was also produced by none other than Jimmy Hart, and I believe a man by the name of Rick Derringer. So it was conducted by him, and then by them, and then over time, the music that Jim Johnston would produce with Jimmy Hart would just get better and better and better and better, with guys like The Undertaker, guys like Sergeant Slaughter, guys like the Iron Sheik, Randy Savage I mentioned, Mr. Perfect, Ric Flair, guys like Sid Vicious, or Psycho Sid, if you will, Shawn Michaels, Lex Luger, Yokozuna, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Triple H. Just to name a few over time, from around, I want to say around like 82, 83 to about 95, 96, if you will, which was about around the time where, especially in 96, where the Attitude Era was slowly starting to take shape with Bret Hart leaving uh, um WWE, DX being formed, Stone Cold Steve Austin being born, if you will. It started to slowly take shape. And as far as Jim Johnston goes, for every I feel like with him, it's like for every three bad songs that he worked on, there were at least 10, 15, maybe 20 bangers, if you will. Stone Cold, The Rock, uh, DX, The Nation of Domination, Vince McMahon's theme song. Um, who else? Who else can I think of? Marvelous Mark Marrow, Mr. Perfect. I mentioned as well. Gold Dust, and then over time, there were actually a couple people. There were a few people who had brought in music from other groups, from other bands. When you think of Triple H, excuse me, excuse me. When you think of Triple H, you think of Motorhead with the game, uh, the King of Kings, and of course with Evolution, with a line in the sand. Sand, I think, is the name. And then when you think of the Undertaker, you think of Kid Rock, Johnny Cash, with his 2011 theme, called "Ain't No Grave." That was, in fact, funny enough, "Ain't No Grave" was actually a huge hit when it was released. I think in like the like what, maybe like long time ago. Let's see here. Let me look it up. "Ain't No Grave." Here we are. Um, "Ain't No Grave." Johnny Cash. Here we are. Let's see. I believe this song was released a long time ago. Okay. So I guess, so I guess, so I guess the song was released in 2010. But if I remember correctly, Johnny Cash passed away in 2003. So I don't know. I don't know if this was a song that Johnny Cash had worked on years prior, or what. I'm not entirely sure. Um, but 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 again, so you had "Ain't No Grave" with Johnny Cash. You have the song that the Undertaker that the Undertaker uses now, called "American Badass" by Kid Rock. Um, and then you have have Limp Bizkit with "Rollin'," which became a massive hit hit on the top 100 Billboard charts, back when it was back when their album "Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water," I think is their album name. When that album was released, um Roland became part of the top 100 charts. In fact, I think they hit what like shit, like what, maybe top 10 at best, if I remember correctly. And then of course, over time, going back with Jim Johnston, over time over time, more and more, he started to make more and more entrance themes for more and more superstars. Women like Trish Stratus, women like Lita, guys like guys like guys like the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, Chris Jericho. um, guys like Brock Lesnar, just to name a few. Hell, even also the Dudleys had their own retake had their own remix of their theme song, which was performed by none other than Saliva. And then of course Triple H had his version, had a different version of the song The Game, performed by what Drowning Pool. And then Chris Jericho had a one-time theme song called King of the World, performed by Saliva themselves. So, and then of course too, you had Batista bringing in his theme song, which is called I Walk Alone, performed by Saliva. You had John Cena bringing in his own theme song, which was produced by him. Performed by him, produced by him, off of his one and only album called The Time Is Now. Which that song, both that and Basic Thuganomics were his two legit songs that were on his album. So so there have been quite there have been so many bangers that Jim Johnston had produced over the years. But again, it's like I said, for every 3 bad ones, there was always like 20 bangers. Now you look into CFOs. CFOs was actually, I believe they started working with WWE they actually worked with WWE for quite a long time. In fact, I believe they started. In fact, I believe they started to work with. They started working with WWE around like 2010, like somewhere around like 2010, like in the 2010s area, if you will. In fact, I believe they started working with WWE during the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw, with their song called "The Night," which was selected as the official theme song for Monday Night Raw, and then shortly after that, they started to make music for a lot of talent in WWE, for guys like Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, AJ Styles, who else? Liv Morgan at one point, and also just several others, and the weird thing is that with CFOs, their music was actually pretty good. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, there might have been a few that they did that were like decent, but everything else were absolute bangers. The Shield, Roman Reigns, all 3 members of the Shield, both as a group and individually, their music were bangers. They actually did a remix. They did a remix of Brock Lesnar's theme. They worked with Bray Wyatt's theme as well. I think Bray Wyatt's theme was produced. I think was performed by Code Orange, if I remember correctly. I know that they did Bray Wyatt's current theme song, which is being used by the Wyatt Six, but I think Code Orange was what I'm thinking of. Who else? They worked on Daniel Bryan's theme song, Kane's theme song. There were quite a few, and at that point, around the time of like 2009, I want to say to around like 2020, around that time, there were a couple others that started to bring in their own music from other groups. Like when you think about Randy Orton. You think of voices performed by Rev Theory, who performed the song at WrestleMania 30. Funny enough, which is incredible. Um, so again, there have been quite a few that CFOs worked on, and a lot of them became bangers, absolute bangers, just like with Jim Johnston. But now we look at Def Rebel, right? You're probably curious of how CFOs had um had stopped making music entirely. Well, there's an article on Wikipedia, funny enough, involving CFO's career, and it's the very last paragraph that I will get to here in a moment. This is the full career article. It says here, CFOs join forces with WWE through Arcade Songs, a record label owned by Greg Wattenberg when it was named Wind Up Records back in 2012. They made their musical debut on the special 1000th episode edition of Monday Night Raw named WWE Raw 1000, which aired on July 13th, sorry, not 13th, 23rd, 2012, when their song "The Night" was selected as the show's official main theme. Shortly after, they began contributing themes for main roster talent. The duo acted as WWE Music Group's executive producers and were driving creative force. They were the driving creative force behind WWE's music department until early 2020. During their tenure, they secured 2 #1 singles on the iTunes soundtrack category, with "The Rising Sun" for Shinsuke Nakamura and "Glorious Domination" for Bobby Roode. They further contributed theme songs and original scores to shows and programming which aired on the WWE network. This is where things get very, very interesting. In February 2020, it was publicly reported that CFOs had been in a dispute with their publisher over the previous month due to money CFO states was owed to them per their publishing deal. CFOs attempted to have WWE buy them out of their publishing deal and have them work in-house, but the publishers rejected the proposal. In August 2020, CFOs were released from the recording contract and disbanded shortly afterwards. All the production input has since been replaced by Def Rebel. And apparently Def Rebel has been around for quite a while, actually. They've been around for a while now, and apparently and apparently I guess the guy's name is Doug Davis, and I guess he owned the group Def Rebel or something. It says here. Let's see here. It says here that he is the executive producer of the annual Clive Davis pre-Grammy Gala. Davis has produced original music for Disney, Netflix, WWE under the name Def Rebel, Nickelodeon, and Paramount Pictures. So basically, Doug Davis is Def Rebel, if you will. And so with Def Rebel, don't get it twisted, right? Like there have been some entrance themes that Def Rebel worked on that were pretty decent, if you will. And I'm actually going on to the official WWE Music YouTube page here on my Fire Stick and showing you guys what I mean. So there have been quite a few that they worked on that were absolute bangers. You've got Penta's current theme. You've got the New Day's new theme. You've got B-Fab's theme. Some of them are actually really good. Even also the Motor City Machine Guns. Their interest music for WWE is incredible. Jacob Fatu's is incredible. Fatal Influence. Their song is is pretty good. Seth Rollins' theme is an absolute banger. Julia's theme is a banger. LA Knight, obviously, just pretty obvious. There's also Roman Reigns. There's Damage Control, Braun Breaker, AJ Styles. His theme with Stevie Stone called "You Don't Want None." That was his heel theme. Um, you know, a lot of these are good, but think about this: for every when it comes to Dev Rebel, for every 6 bangers, there's at least 30 very bad ones. Like very, very bad. And as crazy as it sounds, and there might, and I know that this is gonna give me a little bit of heat, but Tiffany Stratton's theme, her current theme, absolutely sucks. Charlotte Flair's current theme absolutely sucks. Who else has bad music? DIY definitely is one that is a team that has bad music. Carlito, Nia Jax, Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee's music is okay. His is okay. Pretty Deadly's current theme song is just absolutely horrible. I feel like their music from NXT UK was a lot from NXT UK was a lot better in my opinion. Alpha Academy's theme is just horrible. Zelina Vega's current theme, her brand new one, absolutely horrible. There's a lot that are just absolutely horrible. And again, it's for every for every 6 bangers, there's 30 bad ones. And honestly, I think as far as WWE goes, right? Like I feel like they really need to cut their ties with Def Rebel and bring in Jim Johnston back, because I feel like if they were to do that, then the entrance music of of guys like DIY, guys like Santos Escobar, women like Tiffany Stratton and Zelina Vega, their music could actually be really good. And I'm not saying that as as a way to berate them or something like that. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that whatsoever. I'm only saying this because it's cold. It's the cold hard fact. Def Rebel has made a few good ones, but everything else is just absolutely horrible. Which ties into the question, right? It ties into the question: who is better, Jim Johnston, CFOs, or Def Rebel? As far as Def Rebel goes, right? Again, going back to my initial point, for every 6 good ones, excuse me, for every 6 bangers, there was always at least 20, maybe 30 bad ones. With CFOs, the music that they were producing, it was actually really good. That like a lot of the music that they worked on for guys like Daniel Bryan, women like AJ Lee, women like the Bella Twins, guys like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Wade Barrett, just to name a few. They they were good, but there was also as well that same amount that were kind of iffy. So I feel like I feel like CFOs, it's like, how can I explain it? It's like spending it's like spending $30 on a single Yu-Gi-Oh pack, and then pulling a single card that was basically had the pack value. You know, the card, that one card is $30. It sums up with one thing that both of them have in common. They broke even. They basically broke even. Now, as far as Jim Johnston goes, I mean, the guy, when it came to WWE entrance themes, the guy was a fucking god. That dude was a fucking god. He was the best at his job, and he actually was very thorough, if you will, with the music that he was making. And I feel like, and the weird thing is that with Triple H now taking over WWE entirely, he mentioned in some interview or some like press conference show or something like that that he's planning to bring in more musical talent, like, you know, bring in, you know, more artists to work music for WWE. Like, when you think of oh my god, when you think of SmackDown's current theme song, you think of Cardi. I think Cardi B. I think theme songs list. Maybe this might help. I believe the current theme song now is produced by Cardi B, if I remember correctly. Let's see. It's okay. Oh, never mind. Not Cardi B. Not Cardi B. It was actually performed by Megan Thee Stallion and RM. Called the song's called Never Play. So shout outs to Cardi B. I think Raw's current theme song is known as 4x4, performed by Travis Scott. And then I think NXT's theme is called Millions From Now by 2 Chainz and Lil Wayne. So shout outs to all of them for the new music. I got to admit, I think we can all agree that when it comes to WWE entrance themes, I think the answer is obvious between all three of them. I think the answer is obvious. Def Rebel absolutely sucks. CFOs, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. But again, there are a few that are still a bit iffy. And then you got Jim Johnston. I think he's the man for the job. And I feel like if WWE cuts their ties with Def Rebel and brings back Jim Johnston or some other music group that knows how to make music, I think honestly the entrance themes of the talent, not just for Raw and SmackDown, but for NXT, WWE Evolve, and of course the new show, WWE LFG. I feel like the music for all those shows could end up becoming banger theme songs, and it could definitely boost the morale of the talent that has that particular theme song, if you will. So my opinion definitely has to be Jim Johnston. I feel like WWE should definitely bring him back, but I want your guys' honest opinion on this whole ordeal. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this whole thing, and who has the better entrance music that was performed by Def Rebel? Let me know down in the comments below, and that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more WWE topic videos in the future, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.